We talked about the Arizona law, which I dubbed Show Me Your Papers law. And under this law, the law enforcement has a right to stop anyone who they believe is, they say, committing a crime, but the level of suspicion is very low. And if they stop someone who is otherwise suspicious of committing a crime, they have the right to ask them for their documentation of their status in the country. The Latinos and the African Americans and the Civil Liberties Union have all joined in a coalition to challenge this law. That's an example of my first point about coalition building around immigration, because all of them are deeply concerned about racial profiling and targeting. And as Martin Luther King would say, an injustice to someone is an injustice to everyone. And so African Americans have long been the victims of targeting, and they don't think that targeting should be used in law enforcement, particularly for undocumented workers. So these are my two responses to Wade's remarks, that we should all join in challenging that Arizona law, and that we should all work in a coalition between blacks and browns to address immigration reform.
So in my state of North Carolina, we represent 21% of the state population, yet 61% of those that are incarcerated look like me. 57% of those that drop out of school look like me. 48% of those that have abortion look like me. And yet we sit there and say, and Wayne starts off and says, irregular path into the United States, not illegal. They came into this country illegally. I served 21 years in Uncle Sam's Army to defend Americans, point blank, period. And if we're going to talk about going out there and making sure that convicted felons, which, oh, by the way, I got one of those against me. Convicted felons have a right to vote. Then we need to be talking about those 61% who are incarcerated, who come out of jail and can't get a job, can't get health care, can't get public housing, can't get any opportunity. Yet we're talking about illegal people who come into this country and give them everything that they want. That doesn't make any sense. The other thing that I thought was interesting was do our best to shore up our borders. You can't go into Mexico illegally and think you're going to roll out of there. You go to jail for 2 years. But we want to sit there and say, do our best. The other thing that I thought was really intriguing to me was who decides. We're talking about serving in the military. So after they come in the country and get everything else free health care, get their driver's license, get in-state residency to go to our universities and colleges, then all of a sudden we say you can serve in the military and that's your path to citizenship. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then we talk about Congress. For the record, since we have said that this is not going to be partisan, but it is partisan, last time I checked, the Democrats have been in charge of Congress since 2006, so what's been holding it up? They passed the health care bill without the Republican vote. What's the problem? If it's that serious, then I guess they'll make it happen next week, just like they did with small business. Let's be